Hey, I'm Meggie Kay. So today I'm just going to be talking a little bit, and yeah, I asked on Instagram if you would be interested in seeing just kind of like a talky, chatty, telling you what's been going on in my head for the last little bit. And most people said, yeah, do it. I would want to see that. So here it is, and it is related to like travel and life and stuff, so it's not, you know, a really weird offset video. It's still related to like my life and living abroad and stuff, so it's not super off topic. So the main thing that's been going through my head is, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? It's almost like I've been going through like a bit of an existential crisis for like the last month, and oh, it's so difficult. And I think a lot of people go through that. I think especially expats go through that a lot. I know I'm in a couple of Facebook groups with the Chit program, and especially around recontracting time, this comes up a lot. Like, do I stay? Do I go? I don't know what I'm doing. Is it worth it? And while this is not recontracting season right now, it's just been going through my head a lot. So, so yeah, I basically have been thinking a lot about how I don't know what I'm doing with my life and how I'm actually really bothered by that. I know some people who are like, it's okay, you don't need to know what you're doing and it's totally fine, and they're okay with not really having like a set goal or direction in their life, but it actually really bothers me. And I feel like the older I get, the more I'm bothered by it. So like, basically, I came to Japan to try teaching English. That was my goal. I made that decision to try teaching English first, and it led me to Japan, a country I've wanted to go to, and I'm exploring, and it's great right now. But it's like, I'm getting older, and I feel like I don't have anything to show for myself, so it's like, do I want to keep teaching English? Something I do enjoy doing, but is it right? Do I really want to do that? Do I want to go back into doing what I did before with digital media and stuff like that? Because like my favorite job I ever had was probably e-learning development, which was my first job out of university. But I really enjoyed doing that too. So I don't know, you know, do I stick with this teaching thing? Do I go back into what I was doing before? Do I do just something completely different? And it's really hard because like, I feel like by the time like the age I am now, in my late 20s, I should have like an idea and I should have a direction, and I don't. And it kind of like, it weirds me out because I remember 10 years ago I graduated from high school, so a year before that, when I was in grade 11 at like 16, it was, you know, pick a university, figure out your career, what you want to do, and they make it sound so easy at that time. And I've realized the older you get, the more complicated it is, and the more like stressing of this idea to like figure out what you're doing with your life. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know anything. And it's not even like I have an idea or some kind of vague something going on. Like, I'm just like completely blank. Like, it's like earlier this week, one of the JTEs I work with asked me, he's like, oh, how long are you thinking about staying in Japan? And I said, I don't know. He's like, are you gonna stay as long as possible? I'm like, I don't know. Then he's like, oh, do you know what kind of like job you might want to look for after you're finished here? And I'm like, no, nope, I have no idea. I am completely blank. And I have to make decisions though, and it's so hard to make decisions when you feel so blank. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the kind of person who's very logical and needs to have a reason and motivation behind the things they're doing. And it's like, I remember back like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, God, was it 6 years ago? Oh my God. Time, what are you? Where have you gone, time? This is coffee, it should really be wine. Anyways, like 5 or 6 years ago, however long it was, when I lost a significant amount of weight, I lost about 50 pounds. And all through high school, I wanted to lose weight because I was always a bit overweight. But it didn't happen until I had that right motivation and that right, like, catalyst almost that, like, pushed me. And after that point, it was really easy to lose weight. I lost 50 pounds without really trying or feeling like I had to, like, keep working on it. Like, obviously, I worked towards it and it was a long process, but, like, it wasn't difficult to do because it was like I had that right push and that right logic and motivation in my brain where, yeah, of course this is what I'm gonna do, and that was the result, and it happened. And it's like, right now, one of the things that has been bothering me is my Japanese level and the fact that I can't really speak Japanese. Like, I understand a lot, and if it's written, I'm pretty good, give or take the kanjis I don't know. But, like, I have a lot of trouble speaking, and, you know, learning a language takes a lot of effort and a lot of work. And, like, in my head, I have to keep pushing out this idea that, oh, well, like, is it worth it if I'm not going to be here in 5 years? Like, if 5 years from now I have no use for Japanese, why am I spending all this time and all this effort to learn the language? And I'm like, right now, it is very useful for me to learn it and I need to do it, and knowing any language is always a good thing, but in my head I'm like, shouldn't I be spending all this time learning a language that will be useful for me 5 years from now? And it's like, I can't see the future. Like everyone else in the world, I can't see the future, so I don't know what's gonna happen, and I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, and I don't know how things are gonna work out, but it's like, I need to know so I know how to most accurately use my time today. And, oh, it's like, once I get that right motivation in my head, things become very easy, and feeling so blank and so clueless right now about everything in my life has made a lot of like, I don't know what I'm doing. This also kind of leaves me down like another train of thought where, like, the other big question is like, where am I going to live? Where am I going to live out my life? Like, I've always been a very slow traveler, and I've always moved abroad in this like serial expat kind of life that I've always had since I've been, you know, an adult. And where do I want to live out my life? Because again, the fact that I'm getting older, it's like, I want a house. I want like a house, and I want a home base, and I have this desire to have like a nice furniture and this really comfortable place to always come home to. Like, of course I'm gonna always travel and I'm always gonna take trips, but I really want to have nice home. I want to have a nice home. I want to have nice things. My entire adult life, it's like, well, I shouldn't spend a lot of money decorating. I shouldn't buy like that really nice table I want just because I'm going to be taking off, I'm going to be leaving, I'm going to be moving to the other side of the world, and I can't afford to ship things, and I don't know what what kind of living arrangement I might have in, you know, the next place. So, you know, I shouldn't spend a whole lot of money decorating or buying nice furniture or the things that I would like, and the older I get, the more I want that. And it leads me to the question, where am I going to live? Where should I make that home? If that's what I want, great. But where do I do that? Because for me especially, I never had a home growing up. I don't have like this home base, this town that I lived in my entire life, and I have childhood friends. Like, I don't have that. You know, I grew up moving to a different city every other year. I don't have any connection. I'm a blank slate. I don't have any roots. So I'm left with this question of, where do I make my home? Where do I live? And how do I know that's the right spot? Because, you know, while I like my town and like my prefecture here in Japan, I'm like, is this really like a good spot for me to put up a home and a base? And is it a practical thing for me to do? Or like, you know, anywhere is like that. Like, is this a good place to make that? Is it practical? Is it easy? Is it, you know, in 10 years, is it still going to be okay for me? Is this still going to be a good location? And I mean, obviously things like that change. Like, I remember every time my family moved when I was younger, it was like my mom was like, this is gonna be the last one. I remember we built a house, like we designed our own like perfect dream house when we were living in Florida, and we only lived there. It was less than a year we were living in that house before we moved again. And like my parents didn't think that they were going to move again. It was like that was gonna be our home for like the rest of our lives. But no, it was less than a year. So I mean, things always change and stuff, but it's always in my head, like things are gonna change and things are gonna move, and it's really difficult to settle down for me and like know like this is the right place for me to settle down. And I've been in Japan for almost 2 years, which is probably the longest I've ever lived in like one spot, and you know, part of me likes it, but in the back of my head I'm just like, oh, I'm not sure this is the right place. And like I said before, I was like, I need that like right logical reason in my head before I can make a decision. Like, decision making is so difficult for me. I know whatever decision I do make is just the decision I make. Like, this is life. And there's no do-overs. Whatever decision I make is the decision I make, and it has to be the right one because like there's no do-overs. You have to make a decision. And in my head I'm like, yeah, but it needs to be a logical decision. It has to make sense. It has to be practical. It has to do this and that. And like oh, it's so hard to make decisions. How do people make decisions? How do you do this, people? Tell me. Tell me how you make decisions without having sound logic behind it. I mean, granted, this might just be a personality flaw within me, needing to have solid, logical reasonings behind everything I do and every like big life decision I make. Life. I also think it's this problem I have with decision making is why I feel like I have nothing to show for myself. And again, that bothers me. Like, being in my late 20s, shouldn't I have a stable career path? Shouldn't I have, you know, a house? Shouldn't I have, like, shouldn't I know what I'm doing? Shouldn't I have like something behind my name? Shouldn't I be like progressing? I feel like I'm moving laterally instead of moving up. And again, it's like the older I get, the more I'm like, why do I feel like I'm staying here instead of getting here? Like, my job, like, I enjoy my job, but it's not like I've progressed. It's not like I've moved up a level. It's not like I'm heading that way. And like YouTube, like, I don't have anything to really show for myself on YouTube. Like, I do it and I enjoy it and it's fun, and like my blog and stuff, but it's not like I'm like super established on YouTube, and I'm not super established in my career field, and I don't even know what my career field is. And I think again, this all kind of comes back to like, I have a very hard time making the decision, like, this is my career and it's gonna be my career. And like, this is what I do. Like, I don't know what I do, and I don't know how to make the decision to know what I do. So I'm just kind of like, I'm flatlined until I make a decision, and then once I make the decision I can shoot up and have all that motivation I need to get behind whatever I'm doing. Anyways, I am going to cut this video here before I keep like just circling back in on the same ideas I've already talked about, because I do that a lot. And yeah, that was my therapy session. That's been going through my head, and I don't know if I should do more videos like this. If you want to see more videos like this, or if there's a certain topic that you just kind of want to get my thoughts and ideas on, let me know that, and I can make more videos of me talking and rambling about stuff. So yeah, that's it for this video. My next video is actually going to go back to my little random adventure videos. I have like a backlog of videos I need to edit from like the end of fall, early spring, wintry time, because I failed at winter and I don't do things in winter, or at least like, you know, video editing in winter. It's I hate winter. I'm so glad that it's like springtime and it's like over 20 degrees finally. I'm so happy it's over 20 degrees now. Anyways, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video, which is like a fun adventure video. And bye.